The Pentax K-3 Mark IV is one of the most anticipated yet still unannounced DSLR cameras in recent years, mainly because of Pentax's strong reputation for building rugged, photographer-focused cameras and the recent market movement around the K-3 Mark III series. Its growing discussion in photography communities is driven by the quiet discontinuation of the K-3 Mark III in several regions, and the brand's history of evolving its flagship APS-C DSLRs in steady cycles. Pentax has continued to show commitment to DSLR development, even as much of the industry has shifted toward mirrorless systems, which makes expectations for a potential K-3 Mark IV particularly strong among loyal users who value optical viewfinders, durable bodies, and pure still photography performance. If the Pentax K-3 Mark IV follows the design philosophy of its predecessor, it will almost certainly retain an APS-C sensor format, as this line has always represented Pentax's top-tier APS-C DSLR. The K-3 Mark III uses a high-resolution backside illuminated APS-C sensor in the 25 to 26 megapixel range, and most expectations suggest the Mark IV would stay within a similar resolution bracket, possibly with slight improvements to dynamic range, color science, and noise control, rather than chasing extremely high pixel counts. Pentax traditionally prioritizes clean, natural image output with strong highlight and shadow recovery, which is especially valued by landscape and outdoor photographers. Improvements in sensor readout speed would also allow faster continuous shooting and better autofocus responsiveness, two areas where many users hope to see refinement. Another likely continuation is the absence of an optical low-pass filter, which allows the sensor to capture maximum detail, supported by Pentax's sensor shift technology to minimize moire when necessary. Overall, the K-3 Mark IV is expected to deliver highly detailed still images with excellent tonal depth and reliable low-light performance. Pentax is widely known for its in-body image stabilization system, and the K-3 Mark IV would almost certainly use an advanced version of the SR2 5-axis stabilization, found in the K-3 Mark III. This allows photographers to use slower shutter speeds without introducing blur, even with non-stabilized lenses, which is a major advantage of the Pentax system. If updated, the Mark IV could offer even greater stabilization compensation, improved subject tracking during stabilization, and more effective correction at longer focal length. Stabilization also supports extra features such as pixel shift resolution, which uses micro movements of the sensor to capture multiple frames and combine them into a single, ultra-detailed image. This feature has been especially popular among landscape and studio photographers who shoot static subjects and want maximum image clarity without moving to medium format systems. Autofocus performance has always been a critical talking point in Pentax discussions, and it is one of the key areas users hope the K-3 Mark IV will improve further. The K-3 Mark III introduced a major leap in autofocus with a new AF module and advanced subject recognition features, and the Mark IV is expected to build on that progress rather than start fresh. Possible improvements include faster subject acquisition, more accurate eye and face detection for both people and animals, and better focus retention during continuous burst shooting. Sports and wildlife photographers in particular want stronger autofocus tracking consistency, especially in low contrast and low light conditions. In terms of speed, Pentax DSLRs already offer impressive burst rates for their class, and a Mark IV could push this further with optimized processing and a larger buffer to handle longer continuous shooting sequences without slowdown. Video has traditionally not been the main focus of Pentax DSLRs, and it is unlikely that the K-3 Mark IV would suddenly shift into being a video-centric camera. However, to remain competitive and relevant, some improvements in video capabilities are expected if the model is released. These may include improved 4K recording quality, cleaner HDMI output, better autofocus during video, and enhanced video stabilization using both digital and sensor-based systems. Pentax users typically prioritize photographic image quality over cinematic video features, so the approach with the Mark IV would likely remain practical and reliable rather than cutting edge. The camera would probably serve casual and hybrid shooters well while remaining clearly optimized for still photography. One of Pentax's strongest selling points has always been its build quality, and the K3 Mark IV is expected to continue that tradition with a rugged magnesium alloy body and extensive weather sealing. Pentax bodies are known for their resistance to dust, moisture, and cold temperatures, making them ideal for outdoor shooting in difficult environments. The K3 line in particular has long been seen as a dependable tool for travel, wildlife, and landscape photographers who frequently work in unpredictable weather. Ergonomics are also a defining feature with deep grips, clearly spaced buttons, and intuitive control layouts that allow photographers to operate the camera easily even while wearing gloves. If released, the K3 Mark IV would almost certainly include dual memory card slots for secure data storage, most likely supporting high-speed SD cards for improved buffer clearing during burst shooting. Battery life is another area where Pentax typically performs well, thanks to the efficiency of DSLR systems compared to mirrorless models. This would make the Mark IV attractive to photographers who work in remote locations and need long shooting endurance without frequent battery changes. Modern wireless connectivity options such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth would continue to be part of the package, allowing image transfer to mobile devices, wireless remote control, and simple firmware updates. Lens ecosystem and system compatibility. One of the strongest reasons many photographers remain loyal to Pentax is the K-mount lens ecosystem. The K3 Mark IV would maintain full compatibility with a vast range of Pentax lenses, including modern autofocus optics as well as decades of legacy glass. This allows photographers to use everything from vintage manual lenses to professional limited and Star Series lenses without adapters. In-body stabilization also means that even older, non-stabilized lenses benefit from shake reduction. The Pentax K3 Mark IV, if officially introduced, would likely serve as Pentax's main APS-C flagship DSLR, positioned below its full-frame K1 series but above entry-level models. In a market increasingly dominated by mirrorless cameras, the idea of a new high-end DSLR might seem unusual, yet Pentax has continued to serve a niche audience that prefers the optical shooting experience. Rather than competing directly with mirrorless giants on electronic features, Pentax focuses on durability, reliability, and traditional camera handling. A Mark IV would signal that Pentax remains committed to photographers who value these qualities and are not ready to abandon the DSLR format,